ask about our Y-Fries. We like to have fun.
Listen to KDAWN on the Odyssey, iHeartRadio, or TuneIn apps.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the #1 professional wrestling radio show in Las Vegas. This is the Mark Hoke Show. The Mark Hoke Show. Going bell to bell with the best in professional wrestling news, entertainment, and lots of Sin City surprises from inside the squared circle. Now, let's get to all the exciting pro wrestling action and bring on the host. Here is Mark Hoke.
Hey, highly ho, everybody. What's going on? Welcome to the Mark Hoke Show here on KDAWN 101.5 FM, the talk of Las Vegas. We are also on the Odyssey app, AUDACY. Download the app now, and I promise you that you will not look like Microman taking on Omos. You will be taller than the world. So get that Odyssey app right now. Also streaming on X, YouTube, and Facebook. So if you want to catch us on X, it's at Mark Hoke Show. Facebook and YouTube is The Mark Hoke Show. And you can hop in the chat box on there, say hi. Tell us what you think of what we're talking about and anything else you want to fire away. We'd certainly appreciate it. And especially want to thank all the people tuned in on Facebook. Wow. I'm just getting a look at the numbers. Very appreciative of that, and saw the ratings too. So some pretty nice stuff going on with the show. And we thank all of you for taking the time on Sunday morning to tune in and catch us. Of course, we're at a great spot because we're right before footy football. And that season is coming up here pretty soon. So brace yourselves. This will be a great lead in for you before you start watching the NFL. You know, this week, I wasn't sure if there was going to be too much news. I was very, very wrong. Very wrong. Oh, by the way, Phil Stamper should be hopefully joining us in the second hour. The boys are all running around today, so you got me to open this thing up. Let's start off with Wednesday, shall we? As Karrion Kross, I guess since he's out of WWE, he is back to being Killer Kross. Did an interview with Ariel Helwani talking about his contract situation. Of course, Kross from here in Las Vegas. And I'll tell you what, don't be surprised if he makes an appearance tonight at the FSW card at the Silverton. That is this evening at 5 o'clock. Tickets still available, so you might want to head on down there. It should be a fun show. Ice Williams is going to be back taking on G Sharp for the FSW title and so much more. It should be an awesome evening. Gypsy Mac, Brittany Brooks, Layla Gray is going to be there. So that should be a terrific night. But, of course, Kross got his start in FSW, and he and Scarlett, you never know. Maybe they'll swing by and say hi to the fans a little bit. And if you see him, give him your support. But Kross has pretty much confirmed that, well, at least for now, we gotta take Kevin and his word on this. That this whole thing is not a work. I am not under contract. I did see that they were taking bookings out there. But wow. Just unbelievable things coming out of WWE. But now I think the biggest takeaway was that he never got a contract offer until the middle of last week. So around Wednesday. And they told him straight up, you have 24 hours to take this. What about Scarlett? We'll get to her later. We want to get you done first. That's not encouraging considering you heavily work with your wife. So probably a little disappointment on Kross's part. And he said, look, I see the contract. Where did you come up with this number? Now, I'd like to see some data that supports this. And WWE refused. And that's been all she wrote at this point. It's a pretty complicated situation for Kross because I don't think there's any doubt that he wants to be in WWE. The fans want him in WWE overall. You saw the We Want Cross hashtags. They got the chants going on SmackDown. Wasn't a lot on Raw. Because I think people were still somewhat feeling like this is a work. But I don't think it is. Look, if he got on there and said, look, I'm not working this, we don't have a deal. But it's amazing to me that WWE decided they're going to take another publicity hit on this. Even though there are certainly critics of him. Some say they just don't like his wrestling. I would heavily disagree with that. I've seen Mr. Cross perform live a few times, and he's fantastic. And what he's doing outside the ring, and he, you mentioned that, you almost wonder if him getting over without the help of WWE hurt him. It is amazing that they almost take offense when you do that. You get outside the machine and do things that make people want to see and hear more of you. The book is doing great. The documentary, that second part, came out on Sunday too, and that was really good. Those two have a career in something if they want to take it outside pro wrestling. There's no doubt about that. None. Obviously Kevin and Scarlett want to stay there, and they want to keep doing what they're doing. But this whole situation is just crazy. And some people say, well, why don't they go to AEW? Well, Tony didn't offer him a contract because Tony also thought it was a work. Maybe he still thinks it's a work. Plus, there is a complication that Scarlett had accused Don Callis of sexually harassing her. And it was a lot of the reason that they left TNA back in 2019. So it makes this even harder for everybody. I'm sure if Tony wanted to bring him in, that they're going to have a sit down and get that ironed out one way or another. Because Don Callis is pretty hot too in AEW, but if it came down to it, are you taking Cross and Scarlett, or are you taking Don Callis? No offense to the invisible hand, but I think I'm taking Cross. But a pretty wild situation there, and would recommend you check out the interview with Ariel Helwani that went up on Wednesday. It was pretty interesting. Ariel was all right. The guy knows what he's doing. He got a very similar start to doing kind of what I'm doing. He started doing a wrestling radio show at midnight. Ugh. That would be kind of fun, I guess. If you're on the East Coast, that's not so bad. You're picking up the West. But he's very good at what he does, and I thought he handled it quite well. So we'll see what happens with Cross as this moves forward. I have a feeling he'll end up back in WWE at some point, but I just get the feeling that they don't think that they need him. So who knows? Sami Zayn getting that win at SummerSlam. Oh boy. Now the more I listen to Sami, the more, and I've been a fan of his for a long time, but some of the politics stuff that he's putting out there, and just, he's coming off whiny. And I don't know if we want that in a world champion. I don't want a whiny world champion. Got a pinfall win on Solo Sikoa in tag match. So, the rumor is that Sami is going to be getting a push towards a world championship next year at WrestleMania, which is here in Las Vegas, August 18th and 19th. I don't know. I'm not sold on the thing. I love Sami. I think overall he's a very good wrestler, but man, there's just some other people I'd rather see go. And by the way, glad Kevin Owens has gotten his neck surgery done. I think that was last week. So KO is back on the road to recovery. So hopefully it may take a while, but we'll get to see Kevin Owens back in action. And don't forget, guys, if you are in the chat box or you want to get in and have any comments, love to hear from you. Once again, on YouTube and Facebook at The Mark Hoke Show and on X at Mark Hoke Show. So we get to that, and then we head into TNA Emergence on Friday. And I hate to say it, but, the numbers haven't come out yet on viewership for this. Heard a lot of people said it was one of their least popular shows. And probably the biggest thing that came out of this, there's a couple, and it was a good card. Can't complain too much about it. The Trick Williams remains the TNA World Champion. The Hardys hold on. They beat the Rascals. Steve Macklin keeps his international championship, beating Jake something. By the way, I have a pretty good interview with Jake on our YouTube channel if you want to check it out. Elegance brand keeps the TNA tag title, knockouts tag titles. Skipping a match. First Class, AJ Francis, Rich Swann beat the System. Wow. So the System's starting to fall apart there a little bit. Matt Cardona beats Mustafa Ali. Leon Slater holds on to the X Division title, beating Cedric Alexander. Indy Hartwell beat Rosemary. But there were two interesting ones on here that caught my eye. One is the Hometown Man. If you don't know who the Hometown Man is, the gimmick is that wherever he is his hometown. You can't say that in my hometown. Beat Ryan Nemeth. So a nice win for the Hometown Man as he keeps rolling. But then Mike Santana takes on Sami Callihan in a Baltimore street fight. Santana wins, and Sami Callihan is now retired at the age of 37. Boy, that's it's pretty young, but Sammy really put his body through hell. He is, of course, a former TNA World Champion and was the one that put over Tessa Blanchard when she won the TNA World Championship. But there's just so much that Sammy has done over the years. And it's been a great contributor to pro wrestling, without a doubt. And, of course, heavily involved in Pro Wrestling Revolver. But that, to me, was by far the biggest thing that came out of there, that Sami Callihan is out of professional wrestling as an active competitor at the age of 37. So I'll be curious. Love to get Sammy on the show. We're trying. Sammy's a little tough to get, but say goodbye to Sami Callihan at TNA Emergence. There's a lot of business stuff that we're going to talk about with TNA a little bit later in the show. There's some interesting facts have come out about their agreement. It was a lot of stuff behind the scenes, and I'm kind of trying to save it a little bit for hopefully when we get Phil Stamper in here. But unreal stuff. But we're going to take a break in just a second, and we'll be talking about what happened with AAA last night. Unbelievable evening down there for Triple Mania 33, the AAA promotions. Biggest card of the year. A lot of fun stuff happened, and there's some games being played there down in AAA, though, with WWE now owning them. But pretty fascinating stuff. They also announced, by the way, that Worlds Collide, the next edition of that show, is going to be coming up here in Las Vegas at the Thomas and Mack Center on September 12th. That is a Friday, 7 p.m. start time. So get your tickets now for that, because it is going to be a crazy weekend. And in case you're wondering why they may have picked that date, if you are not a boxing fan, the Canelo versus Crawford fight takes place on that Saturday, the 13th. And if anybody wants to send me tickets, my birthday's a couple of days after that, I would appreciate it. But it's going to be a super busy weekend, and that's why you need to go to thetravelshark.com/Hoke Show and get your rooms now. Don't wait. It's going to be nuts, and the prices are going to jump and jump and jump. And there are some great deals on there right now. As I'm just looking down through, but not a lot of rooms under $100 anywhere near the sites of Thomas and Mack and Allegiant Stadium. But a lot of reasonable prices on there for sure. They've got like 25% off. So you definitely want to check that out. So once again, hit us up at thetravelshark.com /Hoke Show. That's thetravelshark.com /Hoke Show. And get your hotels booked right now. It's powered by Priceline. Get that employee pricing and mystery pricing without the guesswork or the jumping through hoops. It is thetravelshark.com /Hoke Show. All right, let's take that break. And when we come back, what was going on in Mexico? Oh, WWE's trying to make money off puppets. Unbelievable. Stick around, everybody. We'll be right back.
Nevada businesses have been through some tough times, and we've been right here with you through thick and thin, helping self-insured groups get the best workers' comp programs, affordable coverage that meets your needs, and a company that stands by you all the way. From helping establish safety programs to conducting inspections, we are here when you need us. Pro Group Management is the national award-winning team you can trust to stay with you. After all, we've been here with you for over 20 years, through good economic times and bad. Find out how to have Pro Group Management work for you. Visit our website at pgmnv.com to receive a free cost savings analysis now. That's pgmnv.com. Or call our Las Vegas office at 702-740-4380. Pro Group Management. Workers' comp that works for you.
Empower. Tim collects bobbleheads. A lot of bobbleheads. Baseball bobbleheads. Race car bobbleheads. Little Chihuahua bobbleheads. He's got an entire room strictly for bobbleheads. Does he need them? No. Is his wife mad about it? A little. But Tim works with Empower, and he got good at money, so he can be a little bad. Ooh, horse bobblehead. Classy, Tim. Empower. Invest well, live a little. Start today at empower.com.
Hey, hello. Listen to my voice talking to you about the new Old Spice NFL collection at Walmart. Now listen to my smell. I smell like NFL stars Jared Goff, CeeDee Lamb, Saquon Barkley, CJ Stroud, and George Kittle. I smell like greatness. Why? Because I'm wearing Old Spice's new NFL collection. How can you put the greatness of the NFL into a smell, you ask? You can't. But Old Spice can, and they did. Smell like Suntal and Speed, Driftwood and Drive, Sea Ties and Toughness with the Old Spice NFL collection available at Walmart. Smell like the greatest smell in the NFL with Old Spice.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm, and Chuck McDowell definitely not an attorney. This is Chuck. If someone talked you into buying something really silly and you want to get out of that silly little thing, my advice, get the facts. Call me and I'll send you our timeshare exit kit absolutely free. Inside, you'll learn how timeshare works and all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your free timeshare exit information kit. 800-761-0000. That's 800-761-0000.
Paid for by Wesley Financial Group.
For nearly 2,000 severely injured veterans, everyday life has become filled with barriers. So we build specially adapted homes at Homes for Our Troops. And thanks to our donors and supporters, this life-changing gift of freedom is provided mortgage-free to these veterans. But we need you to join us too in completing this important mission. Please visit hfotusa.org and help build homes and rebuild lives.
1015 FM KDAWN.
This is the Mark Hoke Show.
The Mark Hoke Show.
Here again, your host, Mark Hoke.
All right, let's keep this pro wrestling party going on 1015 FM, the Talk of Las Vegas, also on the Odyssey app, and streaming on YouTube, X, Facebook. So we love to hear from you. If you have thoughts on anything going on, and we're going to get deeper and deeper as this 2-hour extravaganza continues. Very happy to see the great pro wrestling photographer Scoop is in the chat box. Good to see you, Scoop. Last night, AAA, baby. Triple Mania 33 taking place. The WrestleMania 4, the AAA promotion, which was recently purchased by WWE. And it was an interesting night. It really was. I got a kick out of it. I mean, there were some moments that I was laughing heavily. I'll say that. Some pretty good wrestling. One scary moment. We'll start breaking the card down a little bit. But I want to hit one thing first. And I don't know if you saw this on social media, but Triple H, Nick Khan, and Shawn Michaels all went down there. And Trips addressed the gang at AAA. And he made it clear, and they did. Oh, hey, we're not here to change AAA. We're going to enhance it. We're going to make it better. Okay, great. That's nice. He says, as AAA's WrestleMania card has their opening match with a bunch of WWE wrestlers. The second match, which was for the AAA Latin American Championship, was technically El Macias is signed to WWE, but this was the only match on the card that did not feature a main roster or NXT wrestler on the whole thing. So everybody that was in AAA, well, step aside. We're going to show you how it's done. I'm going to get to the Copo Bardai gauntlet match in a little bit, because that was interesting. But El Hijo de Dr. Wagner Jr., of course, the son of the legend, Dr. Wagner, beat Macias and won the AAA Latin American Championship for his first title. We had a mixed trios match, which is the Judgment Day coming down. Finn Balor, JD McDonough, Raquel Rodriguez, Roxanne Perez was there too. Beat Mr. Iguana, Nino Hamburguesa, and Lola Vice, who's been performing down there. They win that one. And in that match, of course, if you have not seen Mr. Iguana, he has a stuffed iguana puppet. And he likes to do some flips with it and bites and all sorts of fun stuff. Finn Balor said, "Not today, my friend. Not today." As Finn Balor, you saw he had something when he came to the ring. Well, it turned out it was another puppet. Demonito! El Demonito shows up. Finn is staring down Mr. Iguana, who is in terror. And of course, you know that Finn has that demon alter ego. And the demon ate the iguana. Good game, Iguana. Funny moment. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I popped for it. It was pretty funny. But the Judgment Day gets the win there. Pagano and Psycho Clown beat Los Garza, who are WWE performers, in a street fight for the AAA World Tag Team Championship. Finish. Oh, my. Oh. As one of Los Garza gets wrapped in barbed wire, including through his mouth, and takes a Spanish fly off the top rope, thus ending the match. And I got to give Los Garza credit. They look good. And it's tough for two really handsome boys. And that's how they were kind of portrayed in this whole thing, too. Hey, we're the sexy boys from Monterrey. Against the crazy guys. But they did well. Did well in that street fight. So I give Los Garza a lot of credit for that. A very, Very interesting thing happened in the ladies match, the AAA Reina de Reinas, Queen of Queens championship match, as Flammer gets the win over Baby Apache and Natalia. But don't say that for that match. I got a kick out of this. I mean, number one, you had the crooked ref, which did the really fast count to end the match. But Natalia came out as Natty. And if you haven't seen Natty as opposed to Natalia, Natty has been her persona when she's been out at the Bloodsport matches, where she is just kicking ass, taking names, no screwing around. No, hi, I'm Natty. No, it's much worse. I've been interacting with Natty on online on X, and yeah, she's into it. But I thought that was really incredible because she has been trying to push WWE to switch her away from the Natalia persona and take on the Natty persona. She wants to be a badass in WWE. Excuse me. And ironically, they haven't let her do it, but in AAA, which they own, with Triple H, Nick Khan, and Shawn Michaels sitting there at ringside, she comes out as Natty. Oh, man. That had to be interesting. I don't think she really got to turn it loose as much as she would have liked, just because of the situation in the match, the way it was set up. But she got her shots in, though, that's for sure, physically and verbally. But Flammer retains the AAA Reina de Reinas championship. And yes, I'm still haven't talked about the gauntlet match yet. Just hang on. Main event, El Hijo del Vikingo, one of the best wrestlers on the planet, beats Dominic Mysterio, Dragon Lee, and El Grande Americano. Heavily booked match. Lots of people at the end. Everybody's bringing their groups out. But AJ Styles shows up, takes out Dominic, who looked like he was on the verge of winning the AAA Mega Championship. Styles clash, and Vikingo takes advantage and wins. And the ironic part about this is Vikingo is getting booed out of the building. And that stems back from, and I know this is going to shock some people if you haven't really paid attention to what was going on in AAA, but Alberto Del Patron was the champion, and they announced a match 2 weeks later that Vikingo was going to be defending his title. And he is very popular down there. Believe it or not, Alberto, despite all the stuff that he has allegedly done, people love the guy, and they're ticked. And a lot of, I did see a very interesting post on X that somebody asked, why is it like this? And people compared it to Roman Reigns in 2015. If you remember when he got booed out of the building, even though The Rock came out to try and help him with that Royal Rumble at the end. AAA fans just feel like Vikingo is getting pushed to the moon, and it's just too much. But Vikingo does hang on. And it was funny, too, because he had the support of Rey Mysterio and so many others. And just a really weird situation there for those guys in AAA. So they've already got a booking problem. Have fun with that. But I guess, you shouldn't announce that a champion's going to lose his title 2 weeks before it actually happens. Ay. And then we had the gauntlet match to open this card up. The Copa Bulldog Gauntlet is very similar to the Royal Rumble, except you can actually get pinned and submitted into this. So a few surprise visitors from WWE. We heard that Omos was going to show up, and the 7'3" giant did show up. There was no question about that. But Otis pops into the building, and he's having some fun, and he's messing around with Micro Man, who has signed a WWE contract. Microman is 3'3" if you have never seen Microman. So you can imagine how that combination went. But, Laparca's out there and, doing his crazy dances and all that fun stuff. And, some of the other ones like Aerostar, Mecha Wolf, Cibernetico, Octagon Jr., a lot of terrific talent in that match. But we had a showdown of showdowns as Microman, while Omos was facing away, and I believe he'd just done an elimination, Microman walked up behind Omos, kicked him about as high as he could, about ankle height on Omos. And Omos turns around, looks left, looks to the right, keeps looking around. Microman kicks him again. And poor Microman then was noticed by Omos. And it is going to be a legendary visual. Omos is 7'3", Microman is 3'3". Amazing. Microman decided to go off the ropes, try and do something. And Omos just stomped him into the ground. And eventually eliminated Microman. But a hilarious moment. It was pretty cool. I give him credit. Once again, some viral moments. And it was, great wrestling on the card. I don't think anybody's going to debate that. A pretty good show, and they got a lot of views too. I think they were around 2 million views or somewhere in there for this. So a successful night for WWE AAA. But you also have to wonder, with WWE planning to take over the pro wrestling universe, what's really going to happen down there? Because that's the thing that bothered me so much about the card last night. Was you had, in that first match, you had Omos, Otis in there, showing up. So they're in that match. And like I said, only one match that did not have a WWE main roster or NXT roster performer in it. One. And I got to tell you, if you're a AAA performer down there, you got to be ticked. Trips can come down and say what he wants about, we're only going to enhance things. You're enhancing it by taking the wrestling. I mean, imagine what would happen if AEW took over bought WWE. I just for fun. Not saying that would ever happen. Who knows? But imagine a few months before WrestleMania, the AEW had purchased WWE, and half the matches, and almost all the matches. So let's say if they have 14 matches, the 12 of them, they put AEW performers in there. Wouldn't you be a little upset if you were in that position? I'd be mad. Now, they have signed some of the AAA performers to WWE contracts. Among them, the King goes there, but they just signed Microman, La Hydra, La Parca, Fabi Apache, Hamburguesa, Macias, and Flammer to WWE contracts. So they'll probably be bouncing back and forth. But, man, that's the thing that's going to bug me. And we're going to get into all the moves and things that we found out that WWE has been doing behind the scenes. And I don't know what the fans' reaction is going to generally be. We saw one reaction with how many people watched Raw this week, and we're going to probably talk about that a little bit later on. But an interesting night down in Mexico City, and congratulations to everybody down there. Fun show. And if you haven't watched it, I would recommend you go back and watch some of the matches. It was a pretty good evening. Now, also, I want to remind everybody that, in case you go down to Mexico City and you get mugged and you decide you need health insurance, life insurance, maybe you want to get some before you head down there. I'd really appreciate give my friend Pat Casal at the Multicare Group a phone call. Look, he does individual health insurance, life insurance policies, also benefits for your business too. But especially for those of you guys that are in the wrestling industry and you need health insurance, he is the man to call. 702-286-1014. The website is themulticaregroup.com and eventually get to Pat. Or you could just give Pat a call directly. 702-286-1014. That's 702-286-1014. Very low priced, cool insurance policy, life insurance policies. I think he's got some around $35 and great health insurance too. Pat, I promise you, he's been doing it here for almost 30 years. He will take care of you. So check in with Pat Casal at the Multicare Group anytime you want. Well, don't wake him up. Please don't. That would get me. But he'll take a customer anytime you need him. So once again, Pat Casal at the Multicare Group, 702-286-1014. All right, let's take a break. And when we return, WWE has been bad boy, but we had another big tournament wrap up, professional wrestling tournament wrap up yesterday too. And did Triple H get fat shaved? Are you kidding me? Oh, God. Stick around, everybody. We'll be right back.
Count the Kicks is an easy way to monitor your baby's well-being, which is why many doctors recommend making this part of your daily routine in the 3rd trimester of pregnancy. It's easy to do using the free Count the Kicks app. Pick a time when your baby is active and count each movement as 1 kick until you reach 10. Contact your healthcare provider right away if you notice a change in the strength of your baby's movements or how long it takes to get to 10. Don't delay. Visit the App Store to download Count the Kicks and get started today.
It can happen to any pet. A door that didn't shut, an open gate, and now your pet is missing. The best way for your pet to find its way home is a microchip. It takes seconds to implant, and they're only $5 at Nevada SPCA. Microchipping your dog and cat is the law in Clark County, and Nevada SPCA is here to help with $5 microchips. Go to nevadaspca.org to book your microchip appointment today.
Find happiness at SPCA. Let's go!
You're still glowing, flirting, grooving. You've still got it. But your immune system weakens as you age, making it harder to fight flu, pneumococcal pneumonia, RSV, and COVID-19. Vaccines are a key part of any health routine and help strengthen your immune response. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. Schedule in minutes at vaxassist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Lowe's knows to bring your vision to life, it's important to find the right color. That's why MyLowe's Rewards members get a free Valspar paint or exterior stain sample to test your look to confidently refresh your space. Offer valid in-store only 8/7-8/20. Limit 1 per customer while supplies last. Discount taken in time of purchase. See associate for details. Rewards program subject to terms and conditions. Details at lowes.com/terms. Subject to change.
Popsicles, sprinklers, a cool breeze. Talk about refreshing. You know what else is refreshing this summer? A brand new phone with Verizon. Yep, get a new phone on any plan with Select Phone Trade-in and My Plan. And lock down a low price for 3 years on any plan with My Plan. This is a deal for everyone, whether you're a new or existing customer. Swing by Verizon today for our best phone deals. 3-year price guarantee applies to then current base monthly rate only. Additional terms and conditions apply for all offers.
Are you a parent of a 2 to 8-year-old? Listen closely for an exciting offer, then head to abcmouse.com/radio to learn more. By now, you've probably heard of ABC Mouse.
ABC Mouse is like a little one-on-one teacher. It has helped her so much.
We're offering a promo at abcmouse.com/radio to try it for free for a month, then $14.99 per month until canceled. Go to abcmouse.com/radio to see this offer. That's abcmouse.com/radio. Actual ABC Mouse users compensate for their testimonials, sponsored by Age of Learning.
1015 FM KDAWN.
You're listening to the #1 professional wrestling radio show in Vegas, The Mark Hoke Show. The Mark Hoke Show. Now, here again is Mark Hoke.
That's right. We're coming to you live from the KDAWN studios in beautiful Southwest Las Vegas, just up the street from the UFC headquarters. and where I also believe the WWE headquarters will be soon enough. Just be patient. But very happy to have you joining us here. It's the best in pro wrestling news and entertainment. I am Mark Hoke. Coach Rosie is on vacation-ish. Actually, I wouldn't say vacation. He's all over the place doing work. Stu Myrick also had an assignment today for his radio work, so he's tied up. We're hoping we'll get Phil Stamper in here for hour number 2. Keep fingers crossed. But, man, I'll tell you, this week, on the business side, man, you thought the cross stuff was enough? Well, just wait till hour number 2 because we're going to talk about things are getting cutthroat out there. Oh, my God. I don't know. Will WWE pay for their sins on this? Or do they care? We'll get into it in hour number 2. But some other cool stuff happened as the G1 Climax 35 tournament wrapped up. If you don't know what that is, New Japan sets up a massive round-robin tournament where you have 2 pools of talent going at it for months, and then the top 3 of each group advance. So they had 20 guys going at it for the G1 Climax tournament. And it's really, in terms of tournaments, probably even more impressive than the Continental Classic AEW does. They have modeled it after that. But that wrapped up this week. In Block A, Evil, David Finlay, and Yota Tsuji advanced. Block B was IWGP World Champion Zack Sabre, Shota Umino, and Kensuke Takeshita getting out of Block B. Playoffs started on Thursday. Round 1, Tsuji beat Umino, excuse me. Takeshita beat David Finlay. Then on Saturday, Evil beat Tsuji and Takeshita knocked off Zack Sabre Jr. So Takeshita, of course, is in AEW, gets a big win on Zack Sabre. And then Takeshita goes on to beat Evil yesterday and wins the G1 Climax tournament. Huge win for Takeshita. Huge. Now, if you don't follow Japanese wrestling, like I said, this tournament is very prestigious. And not only does he win it, but he also gets a pinfall win on Zack Sabre Jr. along the way. So a big, big weekend for Kensuke Takeshita. So way to go as he puts his name among the G1 Climax champions. Very nice. We did see something else that came up that was very interesting. With all of the machinations going on behind the scenes that we're going to talk about in hour number 2, there were some hard numbers that came out this week that, if they are correct, something historic happened this week. Monday Night Raw on Netflix, according to many sources and that compile the numbers, only pulled 920,000 viewers. Under 1 million. Now, we're going to find out if that number's right, because it sounds awfully low. But AEW and Dynamite, between their broadcast on TBS, or TNT, excuse me, and HBO Max, 1.19 million. You know what that means, guys? Dynamite beat Raw for the first time ever. They were very close a few years ago. And then the bloodline started, and AEW had a bunch of injuries that just crushed them. But that is shocking. Shocking. So now the question is, what happened? Why did Raw drop? And actually, AEW was down a hair from last week. So either I'm not going to say that there isn't a possibility that somehow these numbers are wrong. It is a possibility. But is this the Brock Lesnar effect? Do we have I knew there might be a little bit of a backlash from Brock Lesnar's return. And if you don't know why there would be, because he was named in the Janelle Grant lawsuit against Vince McMahon and WWE, having to do some interesting stuff with Ms. Grant. Just go read it. Lawsuit's up. But a lot of people were up in arms that Brock Lesnar made a return. But I got to say, that's a hell of a drop. And, the shows have been, Raw and SmackDown last few weeks have been somewhat lackluster. WWE is, and I hate to say it, they've got all these business deals worked out, but they got to remember the biggest thing is you got to put on the show. It's got to be good. And not saying that they were bad. Like, I watched SmackDown Friday night. I was like, it's okay. It kind of reminded me of about 5 or 6 years ago before AEW started, when they were just like, whatever, who cares? They don't care. Let's just do some good pay-per-views and, the shows are going to fall where they are. Can't get away with that anymore. Too many options out there. But that is a shocking number. And I'm going to tell you something else. NXT gang can't be too happy either. It was on Tuesday. They did 728,000 viewers. They were outdrawn by the Hulk Hogan documentary that was on Fox that TMZ put together. They had 1 million viewers for that. So Fox, the gang that WWE left behind, gives NXT a little tap on the shoulder. So a couple of shocking defeats for WWE in the ratings, which might explain why everybody was getting so cuckoo nutsy over there this week. And a lot of stuff was coming out, because I will guarantee you that Nick Khan and Triple H and The Rock and all the boys over there and Ari Emanuel can't be happy about that. I mean, losing to Dynamite, if that number's right, is going to send shockwaves through WWE. And they are trying to do everything they can to destroy AEW. And we're going to talk about that in hour number 2. But amazing stuff there. But I will talk about this one before we wrap the hour up. Triple H and Steph were on vacation. Probably a good call right now. I don't think I'd want to be in the office. But, Trips doesn't look like he used to. He's got a little extra around the waist. He doesn't look like the Triple H of old. Of course, he's in his mid-50s. And had to get a pacemaker put in. So he can't go out and do all the things to his body that he used to do. Well, the pictures came out. So there's some pictures of them being out on vacation on the beach, having a good old time. Trips is wearing the same swim trunks that he got. Somebody found a photo from 15 years ago. Same trunks. Good for him, man. If it's good, keep it. But people were ripping Triple H. Man, I don't know what's up with you guys that are deep in the internet wrestling community, but come on. You clearly don't understand what happens to your body when you age. It's harder to stay in shape. It's very hard. Your metabolism slows down so bad. And this guy was just a workout machine. He's on Muscle and Fitness and everything else. And he had a pacemaker put in, which means, guess what? You can't do the same things you used to do if you got a pacemaker in you. I can't go, I'm the game at the workouts. Not anymore. And people fat shamed the guy. Come on. That falls right into the get a life territory. Jeez, Look, sometimes I like Trips, sometimes I don't, but I'm going to defend him 100% on this one. Cut it out, you dolts. All right, that's going to wrap up hour number 1 of the Mark Hoke Show. Would certainly appreciate if you give us a like on Facebook at the Mark Hoke Show. Give us a subscribe on YouTube at the Mark Hoke Show, and follow us on X at Mark Hoke Show. Certainly enjoy you having you be a part of our family, and download that Odyssey app too. And we return. What's all this hullabaloo I keep talking about with WWE and AEW? We're going to break it down and a whole lot more. We're getting ready for Forbidden Door, and Rhea Ripley got herself in trouble. Oh boy. Stick around. Hour number 2 coming up on the Mark Hoke Show. We'll be right back. Want more of the Mark Hoke Show? Follow us on Twitter at Mark Hoke Show. Like us on Facebook at The Mark Hoke Show, and visit markhokeshow.com to keep up with everything happening with the show. And remember to check out all of our archive shows on YouTube at The Mark Hoke Show, and download our podcasts at markhokeshow.podbean.com and all your favorite podcast outlets. So join the Mark Hoke Show family today, and thanks for listening.
Ready to hit the road in a new ride? One Nevada Credit Union believes your life should be rewarded. With a new or refinanced auto loan, One Nevada will let you skip payments for 90 days. You really can drive now and pay later. At One Nevada, we offer freedom from payment stress and more money in your pocket, so you spend less time worrying about financing and more time enjoying the drive. Our one focus is you. Check out the benefits of a One Nevada auto loan today at onenevada.org. Federally insured by NCUA, Equal Opportunity Lender.
Welcome to Yoga for Beginners, where we say yes to less stress and no to auto loan payments.
What? Say yes to less stress with One Nevada Credit Union's 90-day no pay. Finance your new or used car with us, or move your current auto loan and don't make any payments for 90 days. That could be close to $4,000 in your pocket. Say no to payments and yes to less stress with One Nevada Credit Union's 90-day no pay auto loans. Visit onenevada.org today. Federally insured by NCUA.
If you need to sell your house, talk to Aaron Taylor. You want to sell it fast and get the most cash. Talk to Aaron Taylor,
the real estate guy. All right, Jacob. It's sellers versus buyers, kid. Pool noodle battle. You ready?
Oh, I'm ready. But the sellers are going down today.
Not a chance, baby. Our sellers get cash advances. We handle the repairs up front, and we always get top dollar. We'll even buy your house for cash if needed.
Okay, but don't forget about the buyers. Inventory's up, which means more homes to choose from. And we negotiate hard to get our buyers the best deal. And some closing costs, maybe.
Well, now you're just showing off.
Just doing what we do best.
Buyers or sellers, the real estate guy's got your back.
Call us at 702-310-6683 or visit therealestateguyLV.com.
That's 702-310-MOVE. eXp Realty license number 38886. Call for details.
talk to Aaron Taylor,
the real estate guy.
Do you or someone you know struggle with everyday tasks such as reading your bills or the newspaper, difficulty with hearing on the telephone, or in noisy environments? Do you have bathing, dressing, and grooming challenges? The risk of falling or having mobility issues? If you've answered yes to any of these, the Nevada Assistive Technology Resource Center can help. NATRC is a grant-funded organization offering assistance in exploring the assistive technology you need to perform tasks more effectively. NATRC has knowledgeable staff ready to help you discover options and make decisions what might work addressing everyday challenges. Call NATRC today at 775-455-4454. That's 775-455-4454. Break the barriers caused by a disability or aging. NATRC can help. Call NATRC today at 775-455-4454. That's 775-455-4454. Once again, that's 775-455-4454. Sponsored by a grant through the University of Nevada, Reno, in cooperation with the Nevada Broadcasters Association and the
KMXB HD3 Henderson, K268CS Las Vegas, 1015 FM KDAWN. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
Big Monday meeting. I'm Paul Stevens, Fox News. President Trump and Russian President Vladimir Putin did not reach a ceasefire agreement during a summit in Alaska on Friday. So Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky is now set to attend a meeting at the White House on Monday. More on that, Fox's Lucas Tomlinson.
The Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky and other European leaders will arrive here at the White House tomorrow for a meeting with President Trump. After his summit in Alaska, Trump has some advice for Zelensky.
Got to make a deal, yeah.
Look, Russia's a very big power, and they're not.
It will be the first visit by Ukraine's president to the United States since that contentious February meeting in the Oval Office. Following a call with President Trump after the summit, Zelensky posted, "A real peace must be achieved, one that will be lasting, not just another pause between Russian invasions. Killings must stop as soon as possible, and the children abducted by Russia must be returned."
And President Trump and President Putin saying during a joint news conference on Friday that the talks were, quote, extremely productive and constructive. After exploding to a Category 5 storm yesterday, Hurricane Erin now weakening to a Cat 3. Fox Weather's Robert Ray in St. Thomas, one of the U.S. Virgin Islands.
Flash flood warning still in play. We've got some clearing, obviously gusty winds right now, but no rain. The back end of Hurricane Erin, that counter twist, the southern twist just came right in and brought heavy impacts. We had a rain that was just getting pushed in and the trees getting blown around, vegetation getting knocked. That is indicative of what we're seeing across the islands here this morning as the sun has come up. Puerto Rico likely experiencing similar scenarios as well.
America is listening to Fox News.
Stay on top of the latest forecast with America's Weather Team in the palm of your hands.
Here's the latest from America's Weather Center.
It's Fox weather updates throughout your busy day, every day.
That heat's going to be out there for one more day.
Temperatures being 30 degrees above average.
Put the power of over 100 meteorologists and the worldwide resources of Fox in your hands with the Fox Weather Podcast. Precise, personal, powerful. Subscribe and listen now at foxnewspodcasts.com. Connect to Fox News Audio on the Fox News app. Listen to hear your favorite hosts like Brian Kilmeade, Jimmy Fallon, and Guy Benson standing up for what's right, live and via podcast. Just click listen, then swipe right and hear the latest news updates on your time. And scroll down to hear the latest podcasts from Fox News. And it's even easier to listen in the car with Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. Get programming alerts and notifications. Fox News Audio is on the Fox News app. The voices America trusts. Download it now.
Afternoons in Vegas are ruled by one radio show. It's the real, raw, and relevant talk found only on The Steve Sanchez Show. 3 to 6 p.m. on KDAWN, 101.5 FM, and on the Odyssey app.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the #1 professional wrestling radio show in Las Vegas. This is the Mark Hoke Show. The Mark Hoke Show. Going bell to bell with the best in professional wrestling news, entertainment, and lots of Sin City surprises from inside the squared circle. Now, let's get to all the exciting pro wrestling action and bring on the host. Here is Mark Hoke.
All right. Hey, if you thought that first hour was good, golly gee whiz, hour 2. Man, just put your seatbelts on, hold on tight. We're going to go up and down some hills, curves, and twists. It's going to be fun as we're going to be discussing, oh my God, all this stuff behind the scenes that I can't believe is happening. Well, I kind of can. But of course, coming along on the ride for, we'll get him here in a second here. We had Phil Stamper. We're going to try and get back here. Let's get him on the show. Phil Stamper just pushing the wrong buttons, doing the wrong things.
I didn't do anything, sir.
Man, I'm gonna put some skewers in your head.
Man.
If you missed it on X, it was Phil's birthday this week, and I kind of busted his chops a little bit. Just a tad. Was that a bad day?
Oh.
Was that a bad day?
It was, done? Oh, that day was rough. I want to put into a little bit of context. I was managing a wrestler named JT Dunn, and Damian Chambers against Sami Callihan and Jessica Havoc. And Sammy skewered me in the head. Now, as a manager, that means you're not as active as you would be if you were in a match. So I had like zero adrenaline. So I'm basically getting stabbed in the head cold. And it was cold, actually. It was December, as I think about it. And I had never taken skewers before. And I trusted it to happen It's like, okay. So I had no idea how to take them out. So for the rest of the segment, I just have these skewers sticking out of my head.
It's hilarious. I watched it. I was trying not to die laughing. I really did.
But the point got across, and I deserved it by that point.
He got called a cockatoo on the broadcast, by the way.
I missed that.
That was yeah, it's pretty good. So check it out. Just look up Phil Stamper gets fired. It was fantastic.
But as I thought, as I was getting ready to come on to the show today, I was like, oh man, the questions Mark might ask me today might be a little fun.
Oh, yeah. Well,
things that have happened lately.
Oh, this has been unbelievable. I talked about AAA and what happened there and with Sammy and retiring, and I'm gonna give you a shot a little later on and talk about Sammy. We'll kind of save that for towards the end. But what I saved for the top of the hour was all this crazy stuff going on with WWE and TNA and WWE apparently plotting behind the scenes to try and stop AEW from getting a new TV contract when their deal's up. So where did this all start? Well, it started with my favorite topic, counter programming, everybody. As WWE announced that they have a yet unnamed pay-per-view that will be on September 20th on top of, or is it October 20th? I'm sorry. I got to check that date. I don't know why I don't have it. That will be on top of AEW All Out. Same day. That is apparently the day that Brock Lesnar and John Cena will meet. That is the plan. And a lot of people are like, what's this BS move? Are you kidding me? On that first, Phil.
Yeah.
Do you think that people are going to be excited enough to watch Cena and Lesnar to not watch an AEW pay-per-view?
So there's kind of like three parts to this. Yes, there are some people who are very unsure about watching Brock Lesnar back in wrestling. And I understand all of those reasons why. The mainstream audience that doesn't understand what's happening, know all the back drama, doesn't care. They were definitely at WrestleMania. There were more surprised excitement for Brock than there were boos. And I'm not justifying that there aren't reasons to also boo him. But so I think on one side you have the mainstream audience. It's like, I don't care. I'm watching WWE. Great. Which means if they're already that committed, they're not watching AEW per se. But the big thing about streaming now is you can watch anytime you want. You don't have to watch live in that moment. So I feel there's a lot of people who are going to watch both. They're going to pick one over the other and then watch the other one either immediately following or the next day. I think I think it could impact, but I don't think it's going to be as direct of an impact as it was like in WCW in the day when they were doing counter programming, where you had a choice, like only one or the other, and then to go back and watch was a whole rigmarole. So I don't think it's going to be that strenuous against AEW. What's interesting to note is, AEW, even though they have flaws that we've talked about sometimes on the show, they are getting better. Their ratings are increasing. WWE, when they release their numbers from the last Raw, their numbers are going down
badly. And
so to the point that AEW is almost caught back up to where WWE is at. So I don't know how much of a no pun intended impact it's going to be. And now that they're talking about potentially putting TNA in the same time frame, potentially, I'm sure we're going to get there next. I think that might actually have a bigger impact on the television numbers than a premium live event would.
Yeah, I might agree with you on that. And by the way, that is September 20th is AEW All Out. I don't know why I was thinking October for a second there, but
you got me confused. I was like, did I?
Yeah, I confused me too. I'm been confused all morning. Well, so then the news breaks, and I believe John Alba was the guy who popped this story. I almost had him on. We're going to try and get him next week. But some information came out about WWE's deal with TNA. And as it turns out, this is way more than, we're going to put some of your guys on our show and you put some of your guys on our show. Oh, man, no, Phil. I couldn't even believe some of this stuff. WWE has a right of first refusal if TNA wants to sell. They also have an option to buy TNA. That they didn't say the time frame yet. They didn't get that detail, but apparently WWE can buy TNA at any time right now. And then they are apparently trying to get a network deal with one of their partners for TNA and then put them up against Dynamite to screw AEW. And I got to say, Phil, I can't believe TNA signed this deal. I really can't. It sounded so fun. Oh, we're going to have people going back and forth. It's going to help us out. We had Joe Hendry in here. So I love it. Of course he did. I mean, not slamming Joe Hendry, but he's got a ticket to WWE. He's all good. He got on WrestleMania against Randy Orton.
Right.
But the thing about TNA that I think has always had an appeal to people is it's the island of misfit toys, like Tommy Dreamer said to me. And it was a place to go where, hey, if things didn't work out with WWE, you could always go to TNA. And when AEW came in, if things didn't work there, you could always go to TNA. You can't do that anymore, Phil.
Right.
Essentially, I mean, think about this for a second. For example, the situation with Cross. Well, let's say things don't work out with WWE with Cross. Well, he can't go back to TNA. He's going to essentially be working for WWE again. Mm-hmm. Essentially. So what's the point of going to TNA if he decides to do it? It doesn't make sense. WWE has essentially taken TNA out of that individual marketplace and just kind of globbed them up. And they did the same thing with AAA. Yeah. We talked about what, Triple H, when he went down there yesterday and said, oh yeah, we're just going to enhance it. Come on. Half the performers on the card were AEW or WWE guys. Well, not quite half, but we'll say about 35-40%. I just think TNA was on such a roll. Why would you sign this deal, Phil?
And one, we're speculating on things that are internet news, so we need to be cautious that, we don't know if that's 100% everything. I think there's shades of truth, and there might have been a lot of extrapolation. Some quick takeaways. All right, so they're going to now have a show every Wednesday. That means they have to have enough footage to have something out every Wednesday, which means they also want to put out live content so they can compete against the live content AEW is doing, which would be a change to the entire model that TNA has been running for the last several years.
Yep.
And is that roster also ready now to go back on the road? I mean, many of them were also wrestling not just at TNA, but also on independents. So are they ready now to be on TNA every single week? So that is another part of the question mark. And I do agree it sort of limits the competition, but in a way it's like they're doing it not how they did the buyout of ECW and WCW. They didn't take the programming away and incorporate a few people in. They are keeping the programming and perhaps enhancing it to a degree. I do think you're right. I think when it comes to then contentious contract situations like a Cross, it then limits, all right, where else can I go? But just like the WCW and ECW situation, there are going to be plenty of places to go. It might not pop up tomorrow. I mean, there are other national companies out there that are sort of like chomping at the bit. And one of the big things that you mentioned that, WWE might be doing things, I'm using a lot of air quotes right now, doing things to try to take away television opportunities from AEW. Well, I don't know the laws around that, but remember MLW won that big lawsuit against the WWE for keeping them from having events in Florida and keeping them off some television options. And they had some direct evidence of it. So it's like, I don't know if they're going to be as direct about how they're doing it per se. I was under the understanding that we were going to see AEW on some other networks already, things like either Fox or was it Tubi, I think? And then suddenly, well, nothing's really appeared back on Fox, but on Tubi, there's Evolve. So it's like, well, wait a minute. Would you have another competing wrestling company brand on the same streaming platform. So it's just an odd. It is very odd. But I think there'll be more opportunities that actually come out of it. It's going to take somebody like a Freddie Prinze Jr. who finally goes, guess what? I'm going to put my flag out and we're going to build something else. Or MLW does reach out to some more regional areas and say, you know what? Let's get on some more networks that WWE doesn't have access to. Reach out to a Sinclair Broadcasting that owns all these stations around the world that used to own Ring of Honor. Maybe not. I'm not saying to sell MLW, but I'm saying to distribute it.
Yeah, and apparently the ultimate plan for WWE is we're going to try and make sure that AEW can't get a contract now, a TV contract. Now, I don't know if they can necessarily pull that off, but what I will say is this, and you brought up the Tubi thing. WWE has got their fingers in a lot of places right now that are blocking AEW from getting onto their networks because WWE isn't going to allow it. You start with NBC. They're on USA and they're on Saturday Night's Main Event, so they're on the main network. CBS was safe for a while, but now TKO inked that deal with Paramount, who's their parent company. So TKO is not going to take kindly to CBS if they want to put AEW on. They just signed the deal with Disney, and ESPN, so that blocks ABC. They've got NXT on the CW. They've got Tubi on Evolve on Tubi. So they have really kind of limited the marketplace a little bit for AEW. AEW is very fortunate that they have Amazon right now. They got in there, and I would expect Apple TV is probably going to get a phone call. But Fox, to me, is kind of the linchpin. If they get a show on Fox, they're good, and they have nothing to worry about. Because I can't imagine that even with
a lot of the network stations of Fox are owned by Disney.
Yeah, that's true. So, but I can't imagine that even with the company split with Time Warner Discovery, that they're going to turn them down. They're a top 3 to 5 show at worst every week on Wednesday for Dynamite. So I can't see them not giving them a renewal. I mean, that doesn't make any sense.
Right. I agree. I think it makes a lot of sense for Time Warner, and I think that might be where they live for a while, and that's fine. And the biggest criticism of TNA is the network they were on, which they were on a network that Scott D'Amore, their previous leader, had stake in. So now if they get off Anthem, Access TV, not Anthem TV, they get off Access TV and get on another platform, that might actually propel them in a way that I think, honestly, they deserve. I think they, I have said forever in the year 2000 when the pandemic started, they had the best quality overall wrestling compared to anything else that was being broadcast. The thing that hurt them was they didn't have a crowd or any noise that was there, and they were limited on how they were getting out there because they were only on Access and at the time Twitch. So now if you put them on a bigger platform, you can see the bigger crowds that they're getting than AEW. That may help propel them. So in one way, I'm like, this could be a really good opportunity for TNA, and that might be why they signed that contract. That, now we'll have the media market placement of a WWE behind us.
Yeah, I just think that it would be suicidal for them to go against Dynamite. I think that would be such a terrible decision. And I think we're starting to see a little bit of backlash from some fans against WWE for some of the decisions that they're making. They don't like being forced to make that decision. Now, like you said, it's not like the old days when the Monday Night Wars were going on, where if you picked one, you're probably going to miss the other unless you were a master of the VCR, which very few of us were. It was interesting, but the overlapping of shows, and you've got Forbidden Door coming up, and WWE's got shows all around that, and you see some of the other things happen. People aren't happy about Cross, people aren't happy about Brock Lesnar, and at least some of them. But and even if it's not the majority, it's enough to take viewership away a little bit. People don't like, this, Phil. People don't like the villain, man. They like the underdog. And Tony is just sitting back and watching this stuff go down. And he's got to be feeling like all of a sudden it's WWE's turn to be kicking themselves in the butt.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, there's that. Yes.
Yeah,
everything you just said.
Now, I mean, that Raw number is if that number is correct, 920,000.
Yeah.
I mean, that means Dynamite beat him. I mean, that can't be sitting well. It can't.
Right.
Oh, go ahead.
I mean, I get it. It's a different delivery. So I'm sure there's going to be a lot of, look at the delivery. It's different. We're not on a broadcast for Raw. If we were on broadcast, it would be different. This is an experiment. We're trying things new with Netflix. And that's just the 24-hour number. That's not the week-long number. And certainly more people are watching after that. So, and that's one of the fallacies of the streaming argument too, is that, well, people watch at their own convenience. And sometimes because it's convenient, it doesn't mean they're necessarily on it to do it. And so then it becomes, oh, well, watch it. Oh, well, I missed it this week. Oh, well, I'll just jump in next week.
Yeah. By the way, Kim Artlip in the chat box says, Mr. President. So there you go.
Kim. She's great.
And says, I'd honestly rather watch paint dry than Brock Lesnar. There's people who feel that way.
I think it's the same thing. I have never really enjoyed Brock Lesnar's wrestling. That's me. I think as a legitimate UFC fighter and certainly an amateur wrestler, absolutely outstanding. As a professional wrestler, I just never felt I was really entertained. The match that it was like him versus Goldberg, back in the 2000s, I hated that. I hated it. I hated going into it. I hated the matches that happened. I was glad when it was gone and thought they were both out of our spheres. And then when they all came back, I thought Brock did much better in this later run as a performer, but it still just wasn't my style to watch.
I don't know. I did enjoy him beating John Cena up that one time.
That's fair.
That was interesting. I was at the Raw after that Brock came out, and boy, I'll tell you, I showed my daughter, who was a Cena fan, what happened. Oh, she was not happy. Not happy at all. Can't beat up John Cena. Shame on Brock. But the fireworks scared her too. But that was another story. All right, well, let's take a break. And when we come back, we'll keep rolling on some of this stuff. But we're talking about AEW, and you know what? They might have a couple of chick magnets on that show. It's amazing. The ladies are turning out for two guys in AEW. Ooh, stick around. We'll be right back.
The home selling season is here, and more people are moving to the Vegas Valley. If you're serious about selling your home, you don't want an agent that's just going to put up a sign and sit back and wait. You need an active agent. You need the Brinkus Realty Network with Keller Williams Realty, the marketplace.
The Brinkus team have proven marketing strategies to get your home in front of the most qualified buyers. That means you get top dollar for your home. In this market, you need an expert, and they know how to bring buyers to you. They've averaged more than 250 sales per year for the last 30 years.
They negotiate to get the price you want. The Brinkus team has a team of licensed staff and agents working together. So instead of one agent doing all the work, you get a whole roster of experts getting you the best deal possible. Get a custom proposal at no cost or obligation today. Go to Brinkus.com. That's BRENKUS.com and start packing. License number BS 16186.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm, and Chuck McDowell definitely not an attorney. This is Chuck. If someone talked you into buying something really silly and you want to get out of that silly little thing, my advice, get the facts. Call me and I'll send you our timeshare exit kit absolutely free. Inside, you'll learn how timeshare works and all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your free timeshare exit information kit. 800-761-0000. That's 800-761-0000.
Paid for by Wesley Financial Group.
Hey, this is Michael Rosenbaum. Hey guys, Tom Welling. Look, we both played heroes and we both played villains. But in the real life, there are no reshoots, no stuntmen, or sequels. We all make mistakes. We're all human. Making one bad decision can not only land you in jail, but could also put yourself and other people around you in serious risk. Be smart, make a plan, catch a ride, stay put. Your decision to drink and drive could permanently change someone else's world, whether you injure them or leave their loved ones grieving. This Labor Day weekend, be your own hero. Drive sober or get pulled over. Paid for by NHTSA.
Empower.
Jen has ordered a decadent seafood tower, king crab legs, lobster tails, and a waterfall of caviar. Pricey? You bet. But Jen worked with Empower on her savings and investment strategy and planned for splurges like these. She got good at money, so she can be a little bad. Ooh, champagne. Empower. Invest well, live a little. Start today at empower.com.
Past performance is not indicative of future returns. Investing involves risk. You may lose money. Advisory services are provided for a fee by Empower Advisory Group, LLC, EAG, a registered investment advisor with the Securities and Exchange Commission. OMG, those shrimps are really jumbo.
1 in 4 Americans have a disability. I'm one of them. I'm also a working mom who cares deeply about making sure every child with a disability thrives by getting their access needs met. We've got a trusted ally by our side. Easter Seals provides children and families the foundation for lifelong success through early learning programs, skills training, and prep for college and career. That's my Easter Seals. Make it yours. Join us at easterseals.com.
1015 FM KDAWN.
This is the Mark Hoke Show.
The Mark Hoke Show.
Here again, your host, Mark Hoke.
Yeah, there's Phil Stamper to my right or left or something. I don't even know. But at Trust and Phil. And of course, you can catch him at the Wrestling Revolver. You can catch him at the Maryland Championship Wrestling and so many other places. He's just an amazing individual. So very happy to have Phil coming in on the show. Yeah, always a pleasure. All right. And by the way, don't forget tonight, once again, down at the Silverton Casino and Hotel, FSW's got a fun card tonight. Their survival of the fittest show at 5:00. Ice Williams is going to be taking on FSW champ G Sharp. So you get to see Ice was a semifinalist in the WWE ID tournament. Should have won it. But Layla Gray's going to be down there. Gypsy Mac, Brittany Brooks, so many others. And there's a big match with the MK Army, of course, led by their Nevada State champion, Duke Lawrence, taking on Hero Lou's team in a 5-on-5 survival match. You know, the thing is that MK Army with MK leading the way, you know who they needed. I mean, look, and I'm going to put the picture up here real quick. There's MK taking a clothesline from this magical Santa Claus guy at a Christmas show. I mean, thank God Santa was there. So maybe Santa ought to show up tonight and take care of MK. What do you think there, Phil Stamper?
But it's August. If it's not Christmas in July. It's not actual Christmas. It's August. I think Santa's busy.
Santa would make the time to take out MK again. Okay. He would. So just saying. But yeah, come on down and check everything out at FSW tonight at Silverton. Should be a fantastic show. Phil, one thing just to kind of put a bow on some of the discussion here, as WWE is doing things to kind of shoot themselves in the foot a little bit. In the meantime, Dynamite, even though they had a little ratings drop, still did pretty well. It looks like they may have beaten Raw for the first time. But this is pretty interesting, I thought, that when these numbers came out. You know, the MJF Hangman segment that was on that show had the second biggest number for women 18 to 34 and 18 to 49 of the year behind the Grand Slam Mexico, and the second biggest 18 to 49 number for Dynamite this year. MJF and Hangman pulling in the babes. How about that? That's pretty cool.
It is. I mean, hey, you're getting more eyes on the product.
Yeah. I mean, so congratulations to the eye candy. That's there you go. The new tag team. They can be the eye candy.
Repeat the number again for me.
Second biggest women ratings, 18 to 34 and 18 to 49 of the year behind a Grand Slam Mexico segment.
So there's part of my brain that's like, is it because they're also then featuring women's wrestling differently? Between AEW and WWE, I think AEW show their female talent in a much more competitive light in some aspects, where in WWE it still feels at times a little more limited. Even though I will say, I'm sorry, and I'm probably going to get some heat for this. It is what it is. I think the quality of talent in female wrestling is a little stronger in WWE than it is in AEW. But I think AEW also has amazingly top talented people when you have Athena, Tony Storm, Billy Starks. You know, there are some great female talent in the AEW roster, and I think they're just shown a little differently. I feel like they're part of the show in the way they're a regular competitor, and I sometimes feel when I turn to WWE, it's like now it's time for the females match. Like, it's weird because in my brain I'm processing like WWE, like I think WWE in the day processed Ted Turner. Like, oh, that's the old way of doing it.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I definitely see your point. Yeah, and Tony Storm is insane, by the way.
Yeah,
that woman is nuts. If you get to see the milk lemonade fudge thing, oh God, that woman is long gone. God bless her. But in the meantime, AEW is also selling a ton of tickets for Forbidden Door. They are just on the verge of having the biggest wrestling event ever in the O2 Arena. And you know, I think they're only a few hundred tickets away from beating what WWE did in there one time. That's pretty incredible too. And that crowd, Phil, is gonna be loud. Yeah. Loud. So another Morgan news for AEW.
Well, I'll be honest. What's been preoccupying some of my thoughts is, you know, I'm glad to hear on SmackDown, and I'm glad. When I say I'm glad that on SmackDown we got the "We Want Cross" chants repeatedly, and they were loud.
Yeah.
We didn't quite get that in Monday, but I felt like in Monday, because it's Montreal, it's a different crowd. It's a large, also French-speaking crowd too. So I think to translate, I think, you know, it just didn't get the hype because they were not in a traditional city that was very focused on things they wanted to focus on. Now they're going to go to Philly on Monday?
Good luck. Good luck.
Oh, I'm waiting.
Well, what did you think of the Cross interview with Ariel Helwani? Because it was very revealing. This isn't a work. I mean, I don't think it's a work anyway. And I know, you know, you're wired into the community a little bit. I think Cross wants to go back.
Yeah.
And wants Scarlett back too. But man, to give them 24 hours and say, well, we're going to take care of you first, Kevin, and then we'll worry about her, which could not have been sitting well with Cross either, because I'm sure he didn't want to get separated from his wife. I mean, she's a part of the whole thing. And to hear some of the things that he said on that interview were just fascinating.
I agree. And I think, you know, I will say in my wrestling brain, I don't believe anything ever. Like, yeah, until it happens or it doesn't happen, it everything exists in my brain. So it's like, I mean, I was right there with everybody. Is this a work? Is it not a work? Are they getting time off because they're promoting their book, which is #1 for sports personalities on Amazon right now? You know, what's happening is, you know, what's quote unquote real? Do they need him to die down so like they can focus on other things and then bring it back in, big pop? And, you know, I don't know. When I watched that interview, you're right. I agree. I felt it was more telling when their shirt went on, when Cross and Scarlett both put shirts out. Now it just said when they put brand new shirts out on Pro Wrestling Tees, which is a non-WWE affiliated site that typically their talent cannot put merch on. I was really shocked. I was really surprised because I was like, "Ooh, maybe that's a tell." But I know when it looked like Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn were not going to be in WWE, they had brand new shirts, but they were Kevin Steen and El Generico shirts. The Cross shirt went up and it just said Cross. It didn't say Carrion or Killer. It just said Cross. So like there again was still that question. Is this all just an elaborate ruse and we're all going to be tricked into something? But I think the way he spoke, I think he was passionate about that he was open to working anywhere, but that he wants to go home. He called WWE home in that interview. So I'm hopeful to see him back there. I want to see him back there. I've reached out to him and been like, you know, whatever. I hope you are doing okay, and however you guys are defining okay right now. Because I don't know what's going on, and I don't suppose. And I've always been happy for him. I've always been a champion in his corner. He's been a champion in mine. So like, I hope for the best for both of them.
Yeah, and of course, Las Vegas. You know, the fans are just going nuts. If I do get down to the Silverton tonight, I'm probably just going to randomly start asking people about it. And they're going to flip out. They're going to absolutely. I mean, if he is not at WrestleMania next year, there may be a riot. There may be a riot, but hey, it is what it is. If they, and it's, but it's interesting, where does WWE see his value? Do they think he fits in? Is there some resentment for him going outside the machine to promote himself and get himself over? It worked out okay for Zack Ryder for a while,
right?
But then, it kind of went poof. And look what they lost out on. I mean, if I'm WWE, I'm thinking, what are we doing? Just get this deal done and end it. But maybe they're trying to build some desire to see him. It's the sales tactic. Take it away, and then eventually say, okay, maybe we'll give it back to you.
It's interesting because they got permission to do the book, and he talked about that in the interview too. That the book's been done for 2 years, 3 years,
3 years, he said, and
but it had to go through this whole approval process with the WWE to get the okay that he was talking about some stuff at the WWE, and it just took a while to get all of that approved before the book could launch. To the point that I think he even alluded that he has another book that he is basically ready to go, that would be talking about this stuff that's happening now too. So I'm really intrigued about I'm really intrigued by all of what comes next. I feel like the WWE hasn't been the quickest on the game when it comes to some additional third-party revenue streams and what that could mean. But it sounds like Cross did everything by the book. Like, I got permission. I didn't write a tell-all book about the WWE. I told my story, and I was at the WWE, so here's my parts of that story, and got their permission to do it. When the whole streaming thing came out, when like AJ Styles was streaming on Twitch, and he didn't have
I forgot about all that.
Right. And he didn't have the WWE's permission. And then WWE was like, by this date, like you all could have negotiated a better deal. So you have to come under our banner and you can't do these third party streams. You have to come through us and get permission and all this other stuff. And then like I think that sort of failed in their face, because Twitch has how many different users? Are they really worried that the amount of streamers that they were getting with one of their personalities, of one WWE personality versus a ninja, like who's getting millions of viewers? I don't think they were all that worried. Oh, we're not going to have to pay you anything anymore. Okay, we're good. Like, I feel like they weren't hurting at that point.
See, but this is the kind of stuff that, you just see little things, with the counter programming, stuff like this with Cross. And it's just, I don't think that they see it, that it's making them look bad in the eyes of some of the fans. Some don't care, they're just, hey, I just want to watch a show. I'm good. But they're stinging themselves, I think, if they keep this kind of stuff up. I mean, even with the fact that maybe those guys are still negotiating, it just doesn't make them make fans feel like they care about what they think at all. And maybe they don't. I mean, Triple H, made those comments after WrestleMania. You didn't like it? Well, screw you,
So what's interesting, one of the other things that got released this week about Cross is that he has the top selling t-shirt right now. And that includes the next top selling was something like, of all of John Cena's merchandise, his newest shirt was doing better than that. And so, but I just went to WWE's site because I was like, you know what, maybe I should support him and get a shirt through the WWE to be like, hey, look, there some more people still have interest to get his stuff. It's on clearance right now. It's half off. And it's like, that's to me not a great sign of how WWE might be feeling about stuff. When he did that live, and he's referenced this when he did that promo right after Raw, like in my heart of hearts, I was like, this is a work. Like, he had to get permission. There's no way he's going out there and doing this, and this would be like shooting yourself in the foot. And he talked about, I was told, one, to do it, two, got asked what to say and went out there and did it, and that people were believing it was real. Well, that's what I was asked to do, but not to the level of like, now maybe there's a lack of support or lack of feeling that I'm appreciated or whatever, or that I feel appreciative of being here. Part of me is like, does that mean that WWE already had a path for him that was on a decline to get rid of him by that point? And I'm questioning that, because it doesn't make sense. And if it's like, I don't know, I've never had this experience with Cross. And for context, for those who don't know, like I worked with CrossFit Wrestling Revolver. He came into MCW while I was there. Always easy to work with. Always great to work with. Great communicator. Great many people have been able to tell, great creative mind. Can pitch stuff really quickly, can fit into situations. He's not that guy that's like, I don't want to do this. I don't want to do that. Well, how about we change all of this around? He's not that guy. And so there's part of me that has a hard time also going like, is his ego that strong in the WWE that they're like, we don't like that personality? And I'm like, I don't see it. The fact that also so many wrestlers and individually at all levels are supporting him too says something about what they think of him. So it doesn't make sense.
Well, I can tell you too that, my encounters with him here in Las Vegas, always very positive. And at the Chris Bay fundraiser, he and Scarlett had people lined up outside of the room that we were in to say hi, get an autograph and a picture. And he talked to every one of them and he and Scarlett were both so nice to everyone. And people just love the guy here. There are wrestlers here that people do not like, but Cross is the exact opposite. And he did that match with Hammerstone here. I mean, they did a thumb wrestling thing, for God's sake. It was funny as hell.
Yeah.
I mean, he's so creative, and he just seems like a real terrific person. And I just question why WWE wouldn't want somebody like that wrapped up in the fold. No, unless the only thing I can think of is like they just don't see where he's going to fit in. That's the only, to me, would be the only holdup, just from a business standpoint. Now, if they don't like him personally, I don't know, but
where else that has gotten them, and how they've helped develop people to when they've gotten that great organic response from fans. Daniel Bryan, Becky Lynch. Look how popular they became when they weren't the person that was supposed to be in the main event. They weren't the person that was being driven by the machine behind them. And they sort of made themselves that with that organic crowd interaction. This feels like the same narrative. Why aren't you following the path to success that you've done with other people? Because you're so buried in other things that are apparently lowering your ratings? That I question that. It doesn't make sense in entertainment. It doesn't make sense in the world of wrestling.
No, absolutely. All right, we got to take a break, and we come back. Of course, I want to get Phil's thoughts on the retirement of Sami Callihan. Yeah, that's a pretty big deal. You guys are brochachos, frenemies, whatever you want to throw in there. So we'll talk about that and some other things too, including Bret Hart didn't get a seat at SummerSlam. And Charles Robinson is on the verge of just medical bills. Stick around, everybody. We'll be right back.
If you need to sell your house,
talk to Aaron Taylor.
You want to sell it fast and get the most cash, talk to Aaron Taylor,
the real estate guy.
All right, Jacob. It's sellers versus buyers, kid. Pool noodle battle. You ready?
Oh, I'm ready. But the sellers are going down today.
Not a chance, baby. Our sellers get cash advances, we handle the repairs up front, and we always get top dollar. We'll even buy your house for cash if needed.
Okay, but don't forget about the buyers. Inventory's up, which means more homes to choose from. And we negotiate hard to get our buyers the best deal and some closing costs, maybe.
Well, now you're just showing off.
Just doing what we do best.
Buyers or sellers, the real estate guy's got your back.
Call us at 702-310-6683 or visit therealestateguyLV.com.
That's 702-310-MOVE. eXp Realty license number 38886. Call for details.
Talk to Aaron Taylor,
the real estate guy.
Are you a parent of a 2 to 8 year old? Listen closely for an exciting offer, then head to abcmouse.com/radio to learn more. By now, you've probably heard of ABC Mouse.
ABC Mouse is like a little one-on-one teacher. It has helped her so much.
We're offering a promo at abcmouse.com/radio to try it for free for a month, then $14.99 per month until canceled. Go to abcmouse.com/radio to see this offer. That's abcmouse.com/radio. Actual ABC Mouse users compensated for their testimonials, sponsored by Age of Learning.
Popsicles, sprinklers, a cool breeze. Talk about refreshing. You know what else is refreshing this summer? A brand new phone with Verizon. Yep, get a new phone on any plan with Select Phone Trade-in and My Plan. and locked on a low price for 3 years on any plan with my plan. This is a deal for everyone, whether you're a new or existing customer. Swing by Verizon today for our best phone deals. 3-year price guarantee applies to then current base monthly rate only. Additional terms and conditions apply for all offers.
Empower. Tim collects bobbleheads. A lot of bobbleheads. Baseball bobbleheads. Race car bobbleheads. Little chihuahua bobbleheads. He's got an entire room strictly for bobbleheads. Does he need them? No. Is his wife mad about it? A little. But Tim works with Empower, and he got good at money, so he can be a little bad. Ooh, horse bobblehead. Classy, Tim. Empower. Invest well, live a little. Start today at empower.com.
Lowe's knows to bring your vision to life, it's important to find the right color. That's why MyLowe's Rewards members get a free Valspar paint or exterior stain sample to test your look to confidently refresh your space. Offer valid in-store only 8/7 to 8/20. Limit 1 per customer while supplies last. Discount taken in time of purchase. See associate for details. Rewards program subject to terms and conditions. Details at lowes.com/terms. Subject to change.
1015 FM KDAWN. You're listening to the #1 professional wrestling radio show in Vegas, The Mark Hoke Show. The Mark Hoke Show. Now, here again is Mark Hoke.
Wow. No reaction to that from Phil Stamper.
I reacted.
All right.
We're
Phil
doing
Stamper
hand signals to each other.
At Trust and Phil. I was doing the Karate Kid stuff there.
Oh,
Paint the fence.
I thought that was a metaphor.
No, there was no metaphor. I was
with
just being
broad brushes. Because I saw this. What's this then? I don't remember a swim motion.
No, there was no swimming. We didn't swim in the Karate Kid. That didn't work out. Phil, I want to give you a shot to talk about Sami Callihan. I thought it would, by the way, it was probably the kind of the peak of importance from the TNA show this week. But, I know you're pretty close to the guy. Tell everybody a little bit about Sami and what brought this decision to him to retire, by the way.
I feel like it's been a long time coming, in many respects. So a few years ago, for those who you don't know, he suffered an injury. He broke his leg right at his ankle and required surgery. And that pain is not necessarily gone away. So it still causes him some agony, which has made it harder to work out. And people have made comments. This is not a body shaming thing, but and I'm going through this with my ACL recovery. When you have pain, it's harder than to get yourself back into that shape that you were in. Sami is also an amazingly creative mind. And what a lot of people don't know is a lot of the graphics, I'm not going to say all, but a lot of the graphics, both static and moving, as well as almost all of the new merch designs are made by Sami. He does that work. And he's also an agent behind the scenes. Not for everything, but for, some matches. And so the fact that he already has those tentacles there, I think it was like, all right, what is next in my wrestling life? And is that where he's going to be focused in the future? And so when all this was coming around, it was that question of, and I will say, I try to avoid spoilers. I try my best to not get involved. Well, tell me this. And I want to know. And I also hear other people especially at Revolver shows, like, hey, Sami, tell me about this. What's happening here? And it's like, what? Don't do that. Like, if he wants to tell me something, he's going to tell me. It's how I looked at it. Even to the point of like in the day when he was Lucha Underground, because I loved Lucha Underground when it was on. And there was this story of he walks into the head guy's office and he gets on a chair and he reaches up in the ceiling and he pulls out a Ouija board and comes down and goes, yeah, I left this here as a kid. And then walks out of the room. It's like, what just happened? What do you mean? Like, they're so invested in it. Because one, it was Sami, and then two, it was like, what is this story? And then I would ask Sami, like, I had sort of dropped off then, and then Lucha Underground ended, and I was like, I never saw the result of that story. He's like, oh, they totally dropped it. They didn't do anything with it. I was like, what? Like the linchpin of that story was right there. What happened? And so like I purposely don't want to know sometimes. And so I didn't have a long conversation with him about like, so what are your plans? Tell me everything that's happening. I don't want to know. I thought this was going to be a big swerve. I thought, there's no way. Moose comes out and interferes and does something to cause it a double disqualification or something goofy. Like, and so I was just as surprised as anybody else. Watching that match though, right at the beginning when he grabbed the mic and was like, I want to call out my friends that are here that I grew up with, that are celebrating their anniversary and are here watching me. I was like, there was something in my brain that was like, that's not a Sammy thing. Plus, like, to go like, hey guys, look at these two people that are not wrestling affiliated or TNA affiliated, and let's talk about them for a second in front of this match that you're about to retire on, or potentially about to retire on. Like, that's interesting. So like almost then my brain was like, this isn't it. This isn't it.
Yeah, and of course Sammy, probably most well known for the matches with Tessa Blanchard over the TNA World Championship, and really groundbreaking time for pro wrestling. I mean, I don't think people are ever going to forget that Sammy was the one that put Tessa over, and and had our first female women's world champion with a men's title.
Mm-hmm. And all of the controversies that came thereafter. Just as and yes, I will say in this case, I'm probably very biased because I have known Sammy for a very long time. I always felt like Sammy never got the run with the title that he deserved. And I mean, he did the work he was supposed to, did the job he was supposed to. Tessa wins the championship, and then Tessa never returns.
Yeah.
So it's like, who did better work for the company in the end? I know Tessa's back and making boatloads of money, but
it is what it is. But a great career for Sammy Callahan. By the way, speaking of a TNA guy, Ace Austin is back is now with AEW. Hook re-signed, so pretty interesting. We're gonna have Ace Austin back on the scene. I'm excited about that.
It is so weird in my brain that a week ago, literally, I was with Sammy, I was with Ace, we were talking about Cross, and now look at everything that's happening.
Yeah, that's something, isn't it? Quick reaction to this Bret Hart story. Now we all know Bret's pretty grumpy. I think it's a fair thing to say, but WWE having him come to SummerSlam and not have a chair for him. Now he didn't shake Trips' hand at WrestleMania, and I don't think that helped. But come on, man! If you invite somebody that's a Hall of Famer and you don't have a seat for him, that's a load of BS.
And there was part of me that's like, I want this much more context, which was, well, when was he asked to get there and when did he actually get there? Because he makes a comment how Kevin Nash had a seat. And it was like, wait a minute, so you were already there by the time somebody else was sat? When did you get there? That was sort of my weird lone question. But you're right, especially if they invited him and he accepted the invite and then shows up and then like, oh, well, sorry. That's odd.
Yeah. So Bret Hart is out there. People were banging on him for this thing too. And to wrap this up, we have diseases going around pro wrestling. Apparently, Mandy Sachs did a little clip on a podcast where she said that there was a herpes breakout at NXT a while back, and they were having to wear masks and scrub the ring down and everything else. Phil, is there a possibility of herpes getting around pro wrestling?
Okay, one, I had not heard that yet. Two, wrestling's physical. You're touching each other, so I wouldn't be shocked if there happened to be that. I will be honest, when the concern of monkeypox was out there, I knew some talent that was not because of their sexual proclivities, but because they're physically touching each other so much that it was like, hey, maybe just in case we should get something to prevent this from happening. Oh my God, if that's happening, wow. And hey, I will say for a long time with Samoa Joe at IWA Mid-South, people have been saying, hey, promoters, clean your rings.
Definitely clean your rings. And lastly, Charles Robinson, already taken the hit from John Cena, the broken rib from Goldberg on Wednesday, got bit by a bat and sent to the hospital. Charles Robinson is now Batman. That's terrible, Phil. Oh, poor Charles. No, it was a bat.
Okay. I swear
he got bit by a bat.
Oh, no, it was, sorry, there's a ring announcer from Louisiana that got bit by a spider. It was Carbon Childers got bit. Sorry.
Jesus, there's vermin everywhere in pro wrestling. What's going on? But we want to wish Charles Robinson all the best as he recovers from that bat bite and probably a lot of shots to the belly. Very, very sorry for you, Charles. Phil, where can they find you real quick, brother?
You can follow me on all social media platforms at Trust in Phil on X, YouTube, Facebook, Twitch.
And it's a lie, by the way. You can't trust in Phil at all.
How dare you, sir?
We got to have a match.
Oh, let's go. And Santa's not going to be in your corner.
Yeah, I don't know, but I have a few friends that might want to join me. We'll see about it. We'll see, Phil. We'll see if your friends are better than my friends.
I don't know. I have
I'm going
that likes to peruse Las Vegas now.
Uh-oh. All right. We'll see. All right, guys. Thanks for listening. We certainly do appreciate it. Follow us on X at Mark Hoke Show, Facebook and YouTube, The Mark Hoke Show. Keep watching the show, especially on Facebook. You guys turned out big recently, and we certainly are happy for that. And, that's pretty much about it. We'll see you guys next week, and we'll see if there's more craziness behind the scenes in pro wrestling. We'll have it all for you. Have a great day, Las Vegas. Want more of The Mark Hoke Show? Follow us on Twitter at Mark Hoke Show. Like us on Facebook at The Mark Hoke Show, and visit markhokeshow.com to keep up with everything happening with the show. And remember to check out all of our archive shows on YouTube at The Mark Hoke Show, and download our podcasts at markhokeshow.podbean.com and all your favorite podcast outlets. So join The Mark Hoke Show family today, and thanks for listening.